Today's topic of discussion is pretty boys don't get women. So I see a lot of videos on the internet about looks maxing, trying to look pretty, and how if you looks max, you're going to get more women. So in this video, we're going to be discussing why looks maxing is overrated and how these pretty boys don't get any women. So first point is feminine. Now, there's a bunch of guys in today's society who are trying to focus on looking pretty. So they'll be getting a haircut every single week, running to the barbershop, trying to get all these fades done, trying to get their beards lined up, and so on. And then when it comes to purpose and mission, they're nowhere to be seen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this short clip for you guys, 1 minute clip of this beta male, desperate guy, and then how this guy is giving the woman the ick. So I'll play it now for you guys.
Yes, but I'm falling in love with you.
Well, this is not my problem.
Of course, you can do dua for me. I'm ugly in your eyes or not?
This is not about ugly, please.
Yes, but why you why you not interested in me?
It's not about looks.
About
If
what?
I go after look and money, I'm never gonna be single today.
Okay, sorry,
Single
Kim
because-
Kardashian. Sorry, Kylie Jenner. Sorry, Kim Kardashian.
No, but it's true. Like, let's be honest, you know? I don't,
Why
it's not about how
what do you think
or
who
your
you are?
money.
What do you think who you are? You think you are better than me? You think you
I
are better
didn't
than me?
say so.
What do you
See,
think?
I'm not interested. What's the problem?
Why are you not interested in me? I'm not ugly. I'm Muslim too.
It's not about ugly.
It's about religion. I am Muslim.
No, it's not about religion either.
It's about what?
I'm not interested.
You need to be interested in me.
No.
Of course. You're beautiful.
Okay, so you guys are back now. So from that video, right, you guys can see how that guy there has been focused on looks maxing. So he's got his beard lined up, looks like he's had a haircut, and he's trying to look pretty. The thing is, right, as soon as this guy started opening his mouth, you can start to see the feminine energy coming out of him. So what do I mean by that? The way a man looks at a woman is completely different from how a woman looks at a man. So the way a man looks at a woman is different from the way a woman looks at a man. So what a man finds attractive is going to be different from what a woman finds attractive. So men tend to put more emphasis on exterior, visual, which is like a lot of the time superficial. Too much weighting on that. And then when it comes to a person's character, how a woman conducts herself, a lot of guys slip up on that. But with women, there's a lot more to it. You need a lot of different metrics to satisfy a woman's hypergamy. Now, hypergamy is within all women. God has created them to be hypergamous. So hypergamous is a man who's superior to her. Now, with that guy, right, as soon as that woman was saying she's not interested, she don't want him, he started to get really upset. He started to question her. I mean, how pathetic do you have to be to keep asking a woman again and again and again? Now you could tell from that woman on that video call, she was just loving the attention. But she was trying to explain it to him that, look, I'm just not attracted to you. But what she means by that is, I don't respect you. So that leads us to the next point when it comes to desperate. That guy there became desperate. He started to fall in love. That was his words from the beginning. Now in her head, she's thinking, how is this guy falling in love with me based off of one video call? Now putting her on a pedestal, treating her like she's some flipping queen. Now that's what happens with these guys nowadays. Guys are so desperate. Ain't got no self-respect. Clearly lacks options. And then they're wondering why these women here don't respect them. You know, if you're going to behave desperate, you know, the fastest way to turn a woman off is send her 100 text messages in a day, phone her 100 times, tell her she looks beautiful 100 times in a day. Tell her good morning beautiful, good afternoon beautiful, good evening beautiful, good night beautiful. Every day for a week. You see how quickly she gets turned off. She'll run away. That's why you guys here want to maintain your self-respect at all times. If a woman's not trying to reciprocate the same energy, you pull away. Now you're not being malicious about it. You're not being manipulative. You're literally giving energy to people who deserve it. Don't come across as a guy who's just so desperate to get into a woman's pants that you'll just lose your self-respect. That's why these pretty boys, feminine boys, they give so much attention to a woman, so much validation to a woman. A woman can't help it but to get icked out. That's why that woman there, she was pulling away. So that leads us to the next point when it comes to energy. Now I've mentioned energy in the previous videos. Women are really, really good at picking up a guy's energy. If the guy's got good energy, positive energy, secure within himself, a woman can recognize that. As soon as this guy here starts to chase after her, starts to beg her, starts to become insecure, like with that guy in the video, he started to get insecure. He started to say, what, am I not good looking enough for you? Then he started to become emasculated. That's when he started to get into the chasing position then. And then she pulls away further, stripping him of all his power. You know, that guy started to become reactive. So rather than just saying to the woman, okay, cool, she's not interested, great speaking to you, have a good evening, and just cut the call with her. But no, what he did is he had to embarrass himself all over the internet, all over social media. You know, when are these guys going to start waking up and realizing that there's a lot more to life than just trying to look pretty? Now, these guys, they are so focused on what they look like. The hair needs to be on point, the hairline. If it's a millimeter off, they'll start to have a heart attack. You know, I must have made a video about that a while back. Until this day right now, people are still upset about that. They're still triggered over that video. Because it's the truth. These people here have been focused and brainwashed on the wrong things in life. Now, if you look at a lot of these girls' dads, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on. They're not going to be pretty guys, pretty boys. They're going to look like masculine men. Now, for some of these guys, they don't know what that is. Now, that's why the respect's been going down over the years. People have just emasculated themselves. So, final point is, boy, the truth of the matter is, the reason why they're called pretty boys is because they're still boys. They don't know what it is to be a man of purpose, mission, a person who's focused in life. He's got ambition, he's hardworking. He's somebody who's got perseverance. All those qualities, internal qualities. That's not external. That's why with women, that's why they're so complicated in that sense. It's because they don't understand themselves what's attractive. But when they see a man of value, when they get to know him properly, that's when they start to fall in love with him. But they can't explain it. They don't understand it. They can just sense it based off of the guy's energy. But with these pretty boys, these guys here give off feminine energy. That's why these guys here are struggling with women. It's because they've been focused too much on trying to look pretty rather than actually developing their internal characteristics. If you was to develop your internal characteristics, you'll actually perform better in life overall. That's what the saying is. It's not what you say, it's how you make people feel. So, just to wrap up, feminine, these boys here, pretty boys, feminine. Feminine energy. Turn women off. There's a bunch of these guys in YouTube comments. Some of them are sending like fat paragraphs saying, a woman, she's seen me as a guy who's handsome, who's well put together, he's this and that, I got my money on point, but she don't want me. She intimidated by me. Nah, it's just because you're a feminine boy. You're somebody who's insecure. Like with that guy in the video. Insecure, weak beta male. The truth hurts sometimes with these people here. They can't understand this information. That's what it is with masculine frame. To develop your masculinity, you need to be around other masculine men. If you stay around feminine people all day, feminine boys, feminine women, you're going to become feminine. Next one after that was desperate. That's what happened with that guy. He started to become desperate. Prime example of a guy who's just desperate in life. Ain't got nothing going for himself. Just focused on trying to lock that woman down in a relationship. Now, the reason why that icks out a woman is because it's her job to try and lock you down in a relationship. Because a man of value has higher value than a woman. If he's trying to lock her down in a relationship, his value ain't higher. It's going to be lower. Now, that's what these guys, they don't seem to understand that though. That's why they're so desperate. And the more desperate you are to get into a relationship, it just shows that you're lacking options. Now, that's why these guys here who are thirsty, it turns women off. A guy who's just constantly staring at different women. All these different women that he comes across, he's just staring at all of them. Can't help himself. Can't control himself. And the next point after that was energy. Now, you can try and look pretty all day you want. Let me rephrase that. You can try and be pretty and try and look pretty all day long, but your energy doesn't lie. And there's no one better to sense your energy than women. Women have been given social awareness. They are more socially aware than men. That's what God has given to them as an advantage. Now, you as a man, you can develop your social awareness and you can level it up and improve it and get it even better than women. But that requires you working on yourself. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's not going to be something which is developed a month or 2 months. Several years, several decades. And that requires getting out your comfort zone. A lot of these guys, right, they're so fixated on trying to look pretty in the mirror all day that when it comes to actual day-to-day activities, working on purpose, mission, they're nowhere to be seen. And then final point was, boy. The reason why these guys here are boys is because they've got their priorities all messed up. If their priority was purpose and mission, the women would fall in line. They know that this guy here is locked in on his purpose and mission. He's trying to provide for us. He cares about us. He's got a life of his own. You know, she ain't the center of his universe. Now, a bunch of these women will say, oh yeah, I want a guy to focus on me, spend time on me, you know, give me more attention. But the truth of the matter is, if the guy was to do that, she wouldn't want him. You know, that's why you don't listen to what a woman's saying. You listen. No, let me rephrase it. You don't listen to what a woman's saying. You look at her behavior and what she responds to. Now, she only responds to a man who's locked in on his purpose, who's grinding day in, day out. That right there is really, really attractive. So that's why these pretty boys, they tend to get upset with guys who are seen as ugly or, you know, not good looking or flipping fat or short or you name it. They get upset when they see that kind of guy with a good looking woman. And the fact is, right, that guy there has got masculine qualities within him. This guy here has got feminine qualities within him. Now, women can't help themselves. They're attracted to masculine energy. So, I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.